flat. The underperformers largely were FMCG, which stood out for me at least 1% down, and Nifty Metal was also down around 0.6 odd percent. In terms of the top gainers, the Nifty Media really stood out, 4% higher in trade today.
Thanks, Harsh, for that. Now, India is an exciting market to look out for from a global investor's lens, according to Jim Rogers. He joined us earlier to share his 2 cents on Indian market, adding the lessons he learned about investing from Indian women. Listen in.
I make many mistakes. I have missed many stock market moves in my career. I've certainly missed the Indian market. I'm embarrassed because I've invested in India many times in my life. And here, finally, Delhi has the right attitude, and I missed it. I watched it. I see it happening, but I've missed it. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't like to jump on a moving bus. If you jump on a moving bus, sometimes you get hurt. I just want to say one thing that I learned about gold and silver from India markets. You know, I went to some of those markets, and I would see Indian women, wives with unbelievable amounts of silver and gold. So I learned. You know, the Indians have taught me a lot about gold and silver in my career.
In an official statement, Zee Entertainment has said that the 2 companies, namely Zee and Sony Pictures Networks India, have mutually agreed to withdraw all respective claims against each other. This is with regards to the ongoing arbitration at the Singapore International Arbitration Centre, all related legal proceedings initiated in NCLT and other forums. In a joint statement, both companies said that the settlement stems from a mutual understanding between the companies to independently pursue future growth opportunities. Vehicle manufacturers have agreed to offer discounts for purchase of new vehicles against the scrapping of older vehicles with a valid certificate of deposit. But will this be enough? Tushar joins in with more on this. Tushar, over to you.
Thank you, Himankshi. So essentially, the Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari has announced on Twitter that that automakers have agreed to offer discounts against the purchase of new vehicles when they trade in for scrapping the older vehicles. While more details are awaited on this, the Transport Minister has said that this will definitely advance the circular economy efforts, ensuring that cleaner, safer and more efficient vehicles are on roads. Remember, this is also an extension of the National Vehicle Scrappage Policy, which was first introduced in August 2021. Under this, the lifespan of a passenger vehicle is 20 years. The lifespan of a commercial vehicle, that is the buses and trucks, is 15 years. So how does that give a fillip to more sales or scrapping is yet to be seen. We need more details on it. Himankshi.
So, Tushar, stay with us. Another company in our focus is Maruti. In its AGM, Chairman R.C. Bhargava said that the company will roll out 6 EV models by 2031. Tushar, a very positive commentary coming in from Maruti. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so essentially, Himankshi, we're looking at about 6 electric cars in the next 6 years or so. And that's actually significant because Maruti Suzuki is yet to launch an electric car in the Indian car market, despite being the largest car maker in India. So R.C. Bhargava stated that EVs are a priority objective of Maruti Suzuki, but it does not have an electric car, or at least the first electric car is more than 6 months away. According to Bhargava, the first electric car will get into production the next few months with a launch that is slated for the Auto Expo. That's in the first 3 months of 2025. So essentially, it's quite a departure from Maruti Suzuki's hybrid focus so far. That has also allowed Tata Motors to actually steal a march over the largest car maker in the EV space. Remember, Tata Motors' EV business is already a billion-dollar enterprise. That has also allowed Tata Motors to actually take a big step towards getting into the mid-size SUV space with an EV with the Curve. So essentially, we have to see that whether this is an opportunity lost for Maruti Suzuki or whether it will play catch up very soon with companies that already have products in the space. Himankshi.
Yeah, Tushar. Thanks for those insights, Tushar. So this Yamaha dealership has gone viral. Resourceful Automobile, an SME with 2 showrooms and 1 workshop, has come out with an IPO. The craze for IPOs is such that this dealership has got bids worth 4,800 crore rupees and the IPO has been subscribed 418 times. My colleague Rishabh visited Resourceful Auto to see what the hype is all about. Here's a ground report.
Right behind me is one of the two showrooms that is owned by Resourceful Automobile. Why I'm telling you this is because Resourceful Automobile's SME IPO has hit the markets and it has caused quite the flutter. This IPO worth about 12 crores has been oversubscribed by 400x, making the bids at about 4,800 crores. Now, why this is intriguing is because this company has a revenue of only about 17 crores and a profit after tax of only 1.5 crores after this is for the 11 months that have ended since February 29. What we're also seeing is that this is the trend with SME IPOs. We've seen quite a lot of bubbles like this being created, 100x, 200x, 300x, and now a 418x subscribed IPO right behind me. In terms of assets, this showroom, another showroom, and only one workshop. That's all that this company has. It has about 8 employees according to its RHP as well. It is a dealer of Yamaha motorbikes, and that is what it sort of excels in. What we're also seeing is that this operates under the Sahani Automobiles name, and the subscription is now closed. It will head for listing on August 29, and what we'll now see is whether the grey market premium holds up on listing day.
Well, thanks, Rishabh. Now, Hindustan Unilever has received a tax demand of more than 950 crore rupees, which includes over 300 crore of interest from the Income Tax Department. The notice pertains to the acquisition of Horlicks brand from GlaxoSmithKline for over 3,000 crore rupees. Sesha Sen joins in with more on this. Sesha, over to you.
Hindustan Unilever Limited has received a tax demand of rupees 963 crore, which includes interest of 329 crore from the Income Tax Department. Now, this is related to the TDS not paid while making remittance of nearly 3,000 crore for the acquisition of the Horlicks brand for India from GSK. Now, remember, in 2018, HUL acquired the health food drinks portfolio of GSK, which includes brands like Horlicks, Boost, among others in India, Bangladesh, and 20 others, predominantly Asian markets. Despite the hefty tax demand, HUL has indicated that it does not expect any significant financial implications at this stage, and the markets likewise have reacted marginally to the development. The FMCG major plans to appeal the order in response to the demand, taking all necessary legal actions. It claims that income arising from the sale of intangible assets, as in the case of the GSK deal, are not subject to tax in India. Moreover, HUL has said that it has an indemnification right which allows it to recover the tax demand raised by the IT department from relevant parties. HUL is expected to undertake further steps to enforce this right.
India is poised to have nearly 2,000 global capability centers, which will employ 2 million people by 2025. That's the word coming in from Neeti Sharma, the CEO of TeamLease Digital. She added that the jobs role would be focused on generative AI, machine learning, and cybersecurity, and that the salaries offered would be 12 to 20% higher than the IT services sector. Listen in to a snippet of this conversation.
We've actually done an analysis of the current landscape of the tech hiring, salaries and skills across about 15,000 job roles spanning across 10 sectors. We all know that along with IT services and the product companies, GCCs and non-tech companies are actually growing at a rapid pace as far as the tech talent and hiring is concerned. So this report is actually evolving around demands of skill sets and employment trends that are panning across multiple job roles, across multiple skill sets. We are also looking at how not only tier 1 but even tier 2 cities are now becoming hubs for tech talent hiring. So we've kind of analyzed about 10 sectors, about 3 industries, which are basically the IT services, products, GCCs and the non-tech industries. We see that within the GCCs and the non-tech industries, sectors such as BFSI, retail, automobile, manufacturing, healthcare, pharma tech, all of these continue to bring in tech talent across levels. and a lot of these are hiring freshers, but there is an increasing demand for both lateral as well as senior leaderships.
2 weeks after the World Health Organization declared Mpox as a global health emergency, India has developed its own homegrown RT-PCR testing kit for detecting Mpox. According to the latest report by ANI, the testing kit is developed by Siemens Healthineers. It has already received manufacturing nod from the Central Drugs and Standard Control Organization. The kit is expected to show results in 40 minutes, which is significantly faster than the traditional testing kits, taking 1 to 2 hours in giving the output. What is even better is that the new kits can be incorporated into the existing infrastructure created for COVID-19, hence creating no need for newer equipment. Clinically approved by ICMR, National Institute of Virology, the RT-PCR kits are likely to show 100% sensitivity and specificity. Taking a detour, Bharat Biotech announced the launch of its oral cholera vaccine. NDTV's Uma Sudhir caught up with Executive Chairman Krishna Ella on the current availability of the oral cholera vaccine and status of trials. Listen in.
Well, there's a severe shortage because of the war zone and the migrations and all that. It's a big shortage. Gavi is facing a problem, UNICEF shortage of vaccine. See, we want to see something can help. See, we believe that we always work on neglected disease. We want to help the communities at large. I don't want anybody to die because of infectious disease. So I think it's a very momentous, because if we can save some of the people in Africa, I'm more than happy to be a part of that.
The work for this started 10 years ago. I mean, even before the world knew you as the man who brought the Indian COVID vaccine.
I mean, people know me, but cholera is very specific to Africa right now. And so many people really feel that there's no market opportunity for that. So I think I'm passionate about it because, many African visitors were there to our plant. And we were working on most of the African continent disease. One of them, typhoid conjugate, we were the first one. Now we made cholera. And we are focusing quite heavily on African-specific diseases.
What is the protest which was happening in Kolkata demanding justice for the gruesome RG rape and murder case turned violent. Protesters tried to break barricades as Kolkata has turned fortress with 6,000 police personnel on the roads. The protest was organized by an unclaimed student union who organized the protest march up till the state secretariat. We have more inputs coming in from the ground as Saurabh Gupta joins us. Saurabh, what is the update from the ground currently?
Well, protests, of course, have been going on against the RG incident. But today, of course, there was a Nabanno Abhijan, which the Trinamool Congress alleged was a ploy by the BJP and its affiliates to create anarchy and a situation of chaos in West Bengal to destabilize the state. The BJP says this is, of course, a call given by a students' body and the BJP has nothing to do with it. However, what the police said was that this organization that had given the call for this protest was also not an organization that was registered as a students' body. And they also said that one of the persons who gave a call for this protest had met a leader of a political party at a 5-star hotel in Kolkata, clearly indicating that there was political backing for this protest. Now, obviously, this has also led to a war of words between the Trinamool Congress and the BJP, exchange of rhetoric, blame game, all of that has happened. But on the streets of Kolkata today, the police have had to use force, including water cannons, tear gas shells, to prevent people from marching to Nabanno, which anyways is a high security zone and protests are not allowed, like several other locations in the city. But this, of course, has become now a political war of words between the BJP and the Trinamool. And today also there were various barricades set up, and till the time the protesters did not try to break the barricades or march towards Nabanno and peacefully protested at where the barricades were, the police did not take action. However, upon protesters, specifically at Shantragachi, trying to break the barricades and march towards Nabanno, the police used force like water cannons, tear gas shells and lathi charge as well. These protests have also become a major talking point today, with the Trinamool saying they are political, and the BJP saying that they are a reflection of citizens' anger.
The Supreme Court granted bail to BRS MLC K. Kavita in the Delhi excise policy case. The court pulled up the CBI and Enforcement Directorate over the nature of the probe being conducted in the case. K. Kavita, the daughter of former Telangana CM K. Chandrasekhar, has been in custody since March 15. The top court allowed her release on bail in both the CBI and ED cases on furnishing bonds for 10 lakh rupees each. Allegations have been raised against Mallikarjun Kharge's son and Minister Priyank Kharge and their family members in what looks like a land scam case. To give a context, a plot was allotted around 46-acre land on the Karnataka Industrial Area Development Board site in the high-tech Defence Aerospace Park. Out of the total land, 5 acres were approved for the Siddhartha Vihar Trust, where Mallikarjun Kharge's family members are trustees. This has led to extensive discussions in political circles. My colleague Pratibha Raman joins in with details.
Well, after the Muda scam, this is another plot of land that has courted controversy in Karnataka, and this has also become a political flashpoint between the Congress and the BJP. We are talking about 5 acres of land meant for civic amenities that has been allocated to an educational trust, the Siddhartha Trust, which belongs to the Kharge family. Now, the owner of this trust is Rahul Kharge, who is the son of Mallikarjun Kharge. The Congress has been maintaining the fact that Rahul is a learned man, he is an IIT graduate himself, and that this land is being used for R&D purposes, and that is why, based on merit, this land has been allocated. But in the meantime, the BJP's allegation is that this is not allocated to an industry body. The fact that this has been given to an educational trust and the fact that this has been given to an educational trust owned by Kharge family points to flouting of rules, number 1, and misuse of power, number 2, and nepotism, number 3. While the BJP has been levelling these allegations, these have been termed baseless, and that this is based on merit is what the Congress has been maintaining. In the meantime, an activist has filed a complaint talking about these rules, first knocked the doors of the Chief Minister as well as Mr. Rahul Gandhi, but having got no response there, he finally resorted to taking the complaint forward to the Raj Bhavan. Now, the complaint lies with the governor. We'll have to wait to see what kind of action would take place on that front. But in the meantime, yes, the political blame game continues as far as this aerospace park land near Bengaluru is concerned. Back to you.
3 people are reported dead and 17,000 people have been evacuated as heavy rain lashes Gujarat. Saurashtra, Kutch, Kheda and Valsad are the worst hit. The Met Department has issued a red alert and said that heavy rains will continue for 2 more days. CM Bhupendra Patel held a high-level meeting. 13 NDRF and 22 SDRF teams have been deployed in the rescue work. Schools and colleges have been closed for the next 2 days. Tech giant Apple has brought in Kevin Parekh as their new chief financial officer. He will be replacing veteran Luca Maestri on 1st January 2025. Experts see this move by Apple as very tactical, as the company is bringing their biggest software upgrade for the iPhone. Kevin was the key to the financial leadership team. Apple CEO Tim Cook said in a statement that Kevin is the perfect choice for the CFO position. Moving on, Meta platform CEO Mark Zuckerberg alleged that Facebook was pressured by the Biden government to censor content related to COVID-19. In a letter to the U.S. House of Representatives, Zuckerberg said that the platform had to make some changes in the content moderation. He then went on to say that he regretted the company's decision to accede to the U.S. government's demands, and also that he should not have compromised on the content standards due to pressure from administration. Japan military has accused China of violating the Japanese airspace. It said that an airplane which belonged to the Chinese military entered Japan's airbase. Government's official spokesperson has said in Japanese media that this is a security threat and unacceptable behavior by the Chinese. China said it was verifying claims by Japan. Now let's hear a view coming in from Matthews of Julius Baer, who believes that RBI as well as other central banks will follow suit after Fed cuts rate. Listen into a slice of this exclusive conversation my colleague Muralidhar Swaminathan had with him.
I imagine the RBI will follow the Fed and many other central banks as well, by the way. But to come back to my earlier point, the relative attraction of India is, there are two sides of the coin. One is that India is doing very well. I don't see that changing. But the other side is that the U.S. is doing very well, and you need to see the U.S. do less well. I don't mean go into a bear market, but I just mean stop being the really incredible bull market that it has been for the last 10 plus years, for interest to broaden out to countries like India. And I think what I'm trying to say is I don't really see the case for the U.S. Bull market ending anytime soon. And as long as that is the case, that the bull market in the U.S. is intact, then you are not probably going to see a lot of investors trying to go out to other parts of the world to seek better returns. I mean, why should they?
Right. Unless the election outcome or election results could play spoil sport. What's your view on how politics will play after the election results in the US?
Well, that's a good point, because a lot of things could happen. And one thing that could happen is that Kamala Harris could be president, but the Republicans could gain the Senate and keep the House of Representatives. And if the Republicans control both chambers of Congress, I think they will not be supportive of any spending bills from a Democrat White House, and that would slow the growth trajectory in the United States. And that might make the rest of the world more interesting from an equity perspective. But I would say that is not our base case scenario right now, although Mrs. Harris is in the lead, Vice President Harris, in the opinion polls. In fact, you must remember that in 2016, Hillary Clinton was vastly in the lead in the opinion polls at this time, and she lost to Donald Trump, and Biden was well ahead in the opinion polls in 2020. He just barely beat Trump by quite a small margin. So I would say a lot can happen. There are scenarios like the one I described with U.S. politics that would cause a deceleration in growth in the United States and make the rest of the world more appealing. So we'll have to wait and see which one plays out.
Starting October, YouTube is set to hike subscription prices across all tiers for Indian users. This change affects both current subscribers and new users. For a comprehensive breakdown of the changes, let's go to Malvika for the details.
YouTube is hitting Indian users with a major price hike, raising subscription fees significantly across all tiers. 5 years after its introduction in the country, the individual membership will see a 15% increase, with the monthly cost rising from Rs 129 to Rs 149. The family plan, which allows sharing up to 6 members, is experiencing the steepest hike, jumping a staggering 58.2% from Rs 189 to Rs 299 per month. This means that while the plan could still be a good value for larger families, it has become considerably more expensive for smaller groups. Students will also feel the pinch, as their plan rises by 12.65%, increasing from Rs 79 to Rs 89 per month. Prepaid plans are similarly affected by these price adjustments. Current subscribers are being alerted through emails about the upcoming changes and must confirm acceptance of the new rates before their September billing cycle. Failure to do so will result in their subscription ending before the new prices come into effect in October. This move reflects broader trends in rising subscription and costs and prompts users to reassess their options based on the new prices.
As we wrap, here are some vibrant visuals of Dahi Handi celebrations across Maharashtra. The festival is a part of Janmashtami and is celebrated with great zeal and enthusiasm. That's all the time we had on this edition of Profit 360. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit for more fresh news and updates.
Well, if you're trying to know KPIT and what it will do in the future, you got to watch this show, because we are in the Pune campus of KPIT Tech and talking to the CEO, Mr. Kishore Patil, and his colleague Anup Sable about where KPIT is today, where mobility is today, and where both will be in the times to come. Join me. Thanks so much, Mr. Patil and Anup, for having us here. It's a fabulous campus that you have out here. Must be a delight to come and work here.
Absolutely.
I can imagine. And must be a delight to be in a company or be a part of a company that has grown at such a breakneck pace. I was telling our viewers that you've had, 16 consecutive quarters of growth. And arguably, as somebody told me a statistic, that if you map global companies for 30% top line growth, 30% bottom line growth, great ROCs, there are very few companies who come. So it's been a great last 4 or 5 years for you post-COVID. How does the future look like?
Very promising, very exciting. I think we are as much excited about future as we were 4 or 5 years back, and maybe more, because I guess 4 or 5 years back there was a bit of uncertainty, but now we are more certain, more excited about the future. We are really seeing changes in the business, changes in the technology, changes in the market, and changes in the business models. So a lot of changes we see, and we see that opportunity in what we do.
I'm sure you do, but just wondering, there's a lot of talk, right, around how, while I know technology is always changing, but everybody talks now about how AI having come in is actually the new big thing that happened since the internet. Now, and a lot of question marks around Indian companies' ability to be able to not just adapt to AI, but to able to give AI solutions as well. You are in a niche vertical too, both of you. How do you see this big challenge from your perspective?
I think there are, of course, good things and some misconceptions about AI. The first and foremost misconception about AI is going to replace everything. I don't think it's going to replace anything, it's going to augment everything. That means every problem that is there in the world, every problem that there is in the automotive world, AI is going to provide a better opportunity to solve the problem. And some of these problems in today's context are non-solvable or difficult to solve. For example, a car production happening in less time, the time to market. That is because a lot of validation keeps on happening on that, and sometimes the validation is not complete. Most of these things will be able to accelerate because of it.
Okay.
And I think there is a great opportunity to make this happen and literally impact the industry as a result of that.
Anup, you were saying that some misconceptions, AI will not do away with everything, and you will be able to adapt AI in order to give offerings to your clients.
Absolutely.
Is that something that is already happening, and does that enhance your solution suite?
Absolutely, yes. I wouldn't be able to go in much details about what we are doing.
Sure.
But as I said, we should look at AI from a tool that helps us to do much better things. Things that were in the realm of almost impossible will be possible to do. Okay. And as a result, then we'll be able to leverage, many more opportunities that are there.
Okay, fair. But sorry, Mr. Patil, you wanted to add something to this?
Yes. So what I'm saying is the last CES, when we typically showcase the new products or new offerings we can help our client with, we launched our first Gen AI-enabled offering on diagnostics along with Microsoft. So that was the first one, but I guess that was the first one to demonstrate, and that's in after sales area. So, but there are many areas which we believe there could be a much more what we can offer.
The other aspect that is coming to the fore is people saying that the spends around electrification, EVs, etc., are all coming off, the impact of which will be seen in the next, let's say, a couple of quarters, and it will probably show up in the business that companies like you or automotive-focused verticals of other ER&D players will show up. Do you sense that?
I think the first thing I said is propulsion is very core to the vehicle. right? There won't be any vehicle without a propulsion. Now, looking at that, there are multiple options. Propulsion, which is conventional, people are trying to make it more efficient. Electrification, which is there. Hybrid, it is there. Then there is a fuel cell or hydrogen vehicles which may come in future, or in some way piloting is happening. So there is, in my view, it is irreversible trend to go towards electrification or what you call no energy vehicle. Okay. I have zero doubt in my mind. Okay. It will move towards new energy vehicle. Now, the pace may, even today, more electric vehicles, there is a growth in electric vehicles. It is just a little bit tapered down. And one of the main reason for that is most of the vehicle manufacturers are not making money by selling a vehicle. They're making a loss by selling a vehicle. And that's why they are adjusting, because as you know, the number of vehicles which will be sold, specifically if you look at next 12 months or 18 months, it is expected that the number of vehicles sold will not grow, will be flattish or may reduce a little bit. In that case, they have to manage their profitability.
Yes.
So from that perspective, they have basically increased their portfolio, bringing hybrid and other things, because two things: they have to bring in the vehicle, they have to make profits, and they have to also make their commitments on emissions.
Yeah.
So they have to manage their mix. And but in my mind, there is no doubt that new energy vehicles is going to continue.
Okay, it's an important point you mentioned. So I'm not sure you have the analysis ready, but if top of your mind, if the commitment to emission by all the large auto companies is a particular date, let's say, then would it mean that maybe growth rates are just a little bit in order to protect profitability, but the growth in electrification or non-fossil fuel vehicles, even if it takes a pause for 6 months or 12 months, will get accelerated?
Absolutely, it will happen. Absolutely, it will. But I'll give you one very interesting thing. As you know, Japanese companies think very deep, very holistically. So, Toyota, for example, they looked at that per the lithium, which is, if you would say, limited in terms of quantity, right? Limited material. So, per, say, I'm just saying 1 ton of that, I'm just taking this, how they can maximize or minimize emission, maximize sustainability. So they came out with a formula that every EV they will create 7 hybrids.
Okay.
To balance it out.
Okay.
So it's a little deeper thinking, but that's what their strategy was. So everybody is taking his own bets, depending upon their thinking and etc. But NEV is going to be there, and pure electric is certainly a very dominant, will be a dominant player in the years to come.
While this whole EV thing was on, there is a new fast high growth area of plug-in hybrids that has come in, which gives you an additional quote unquote line of business, if you will.
Yeah, and the point is, our business does not depend upon how many number of vehicles which are being sold. It really depends upon the platforms. And so it will not get impacted if it gets, there are other opportunities like hybrid or this would be there. So I don't see it has any relevance with the general discussions which are happening in the industry.
Actually, nothing is shutting down. It's, I think, more streams are opening up to do things in parallel, do things much faster, focus on cost. So there is a good amount of challenge in the market available right now.
Interesting, and that's where you come in. Okay, the other point is, I remember a conversation with Mr. Ravi Pandit last quarter or last quarter, wherein he said that your special expertise can be used in other industries. Now, in the release in Q1, I think you mentioned, right, that you are investing in adjacencies, newer geographical markets. Can you elaborate, both of you can elaborate on that?
We are very bullish on mobility industry. Mobility industry brings the largest disruption in the technology, and whole our play is around technology. So there are more opportunities we see in the tech world. However, when we started being only focused, when we talked about mobility, we just focused on passenger car largely and very few commercial vehicle. But now we thought, because we thought even we took look at a medium-term view, that even to develop some of these verticals, even to develop our knowledge about this vertical, it takes a bit of a time. So we need to introduce them. And many of these technologies will work there. Over the period, these people will adopt it. And our learnings will be invaluable to them. Okay. So from that perspective, we thought of getting into some of these verticals. Okay. That's point number one. Point number two, even in our T25 clients, actually, our large growth has come from 14, 15 clients. And the other 10 clients are actually embracing SDV significantly now. Okay. So that is again our opportunity going forward. Oh, okay. So one is this, second is this. Now, third thing is, in some of these, we keep on looking at who are the leaders. So now we see that some of the companies in China naturally have emerged as a new leaders. So China becomes an important market, and some of those becomes an important clients for us. So we have included them as well as a part of this. So I think it is always a dynamic situation, but not very dynamic, but we have to see a little bit ahead of time and see what can change in the industry, from who can become a dominant. One of the hypotheses when we talked about 25 clients, and that was we look at the OEMs who are leader in a particular area and geography, and if we service them well, the vehicles on the road, there will be maximum will have our software.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's what we keep on looking at it.
Talk to us a bit about how this is happening, because one would assume that out there are not mobility companies which are introducing EVs. They are tech companies which are introducing mobility. How does an Indian ER&D company find business there?
So China has many OEMs, right? I guess if you look at the OEMs across the world and OEMs in China, it would be same probably. They have 30 EV companies, and there are many other OEMs. So there will be 60, 70 companies which are creating the vehicles, manufacturing the vehicles. Out of which there are about 4, 5, 6 which are what you can call ahead in thought leadership, technology, etc. Out of which few are what you said, people they started like from the software side or technology side and come into automotive.
Right.
Some like BYD started from battery and came into automotive.
Exactly.
So there are 4 or 5 or maybe maximum 6 companies like that. Then there are in between 15 to 20 companies who are in the transition phase. And then there are rest who are behind the technology, old tech companies. So they have different requirements. So we are analyzing them. We are looking at what they really require. And I believe we may have an offering or solution for each of them.
Okay.
We do not know how much we will be in a position to service right now, how big the business will be. But the first thing is we see acceptance from them to work with us. That's the point number one. They knew KPIT, they knew we work with more rest of the world. The second thing, we believe that they have certain problems which we could identify, including cost. We believe China has the lowest cost, but including cost, they have certain problems. And so we are trying to see how we can really come out with the offerings for that market, which will really help them in terms of profitability and market penetration. And the point here is we are there. We can take a lot of learnings from China and give it to the whole of the world, my other clients. So it is very important for us to be in China so that we can also learn and also take that learning back to all my clients globally.
Got it. And Anup, it's probably not just a factor of how you reduce cost, but also addition, you had mentioning about how the time taken for the OEM to hit the market also gets woven into all of your offerings and therefore helps the client, right?
Yes, so I think reduction of cost also has multiple different dimensions, right? So there are certain dimensions that we will have a play in, and those dimensions are also the ones that help go to market or faster time to market. And I think those areas we are extremely comfortable to take it and make it happen. And of course, as Kishore said, it's also a great opportunity to learn what has happened to take it to the global market.
Okay. So with all these opportunities existing, where is mobility right now? Where do you guys see mobility 5 years or 10 years out? And coupled with that, where is KPIT right now? And how do you envision KPIT to be 5 years, 10 years down the line?
From a mobility perspective, you will see a lot of shifting happening in terms of the players and what positions they take. And I think even that shifting, in my opinion, will happen in 2 or 3 phases. So there may be a phase where some disruption happens, there may be a phase where the disruption sort of settles, and there may be a phase where again few things that were disrupted come up back to normal. Okay, so I don't think there is going to be anybody is going to vanish or anything from this space. More or less the mobility space will remain stable from an external point of view, but internally the brands, yeah, because I think the volumes, market shares, etc. will go up and down, and then it will come down to some stabilized position in a couple of years.
Okay.
From a KPIT perspective, I think in that process we have a larger role to play in terms of helping achieve these transitions for our customer. You know, because many of these things will result into new engineering things to be done. You know, the architectures are going to change. The fuel configurations are going to change. There are going to be transitionary things, for example, in commercial vehicles, like for example, before going to hydrogen fuel cell, there's going to be hydrogen internal combustion engines. So even there is a place to play. So there are many sort of options that are getting created in terms of how we would like to play. And I think what is happening is we are also through this process getting to understand even the bigger role we have to play in this market. And of course we have gaps to play that bigger role, but we are at it. And when we identify, we usually make it work.
Interesting. Okay.
So till now, while we had a great contribution, fortunately, towards our client in technology, we focused on new technology areas. We see many new technologies still coming, more exciting technologies coming in. So we see our role first going forward is some of the technologies which has been around but are not necessarily adapted or stabilized as much, like autonomous or etc. So help get it done that and realize that, because people now are almost forgotten whether there will be a really this kind of a product on the road. So help some of this technology realize. That's one interesting thing. There are new technologies which Anup talked about, AI. There are many other new technologies which are coming. So we absolutely will play the role in bringing new technology faster, quicker, innovatively to the client. One thing which we did not do in the last 4 years is we focused largely on subsystem or this, while we had an understanding of this. But I think we'll look at it more as an overall vehicle and efficiency, overall efficiency of a vehicle. Across the systems, across this. That is something we will do.
No, sorry, I didn't get it. So you didn't do, and what is it that you haven't done and you're doing now? Or you
No, what I'm saying is, at a whole vehicle level, while we worked in all the areas, we did not look at it as a whole vehicle system. Okay. So, not that we have not done anything, but we have done little on that. So we will probably play a bigger role.
Latent opportunity.
Oh, okay. And is there acceptance for something like this?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That is the second part we look at it. And the third part we look at it is actually there are different players, right? In Europe, they are used to work in a particular way because they are very diligent. They do the testing much more than other companies. They're very stringent on the quality. Similar maybe Japanese companies, while some may or may not be as much, right? The point is, and that's why they are trying to take a shortcut on the cost or time, etc.
Right.
We believe this gap can be significantly bridged through technology. So people don't have to compromise on quality. People don't have to do this, but but technology will help them to really bridge this gap. There's those kind of solutions which we are working on. That means how the overall vehicle is planned, how they work across the ecosystem with tier 1 semiconductor companies, etc. How they actually use their internal process and the actual working their methodology or processes. That would also probably they may have to tweak a bit to change to really achieve that. And that's where we always said that our role is 0.5 tier, which was we never came as a service provider. Our clear goal was to come as a 0.5 tier, as we called.